Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group, a DHS office dealing with spacing issues amid the return to office mandate asked its staff to bring their own chairs to work. And the GAO identifies $100 billion in potential government cost savings. It's Wednesday, May 14th, 2025. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you will hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for joining me. And now let's dive into the day's top headlines. Amid a government-wide effort to bring federal employees back to the office, a small but powerful biometrics office based in the Department of Homeland Security is now so packed that employees were briefly asked to bring their own chairs to work. An email viewed by FedScoop shows that employees of the Office of Biometric Identity Management were at one point guided to bring their own chairs to the office. That advice, however, was quickly rescinded, with an email saying that despite the initial guidance, staff shouldn't bring their own chairs to the office, while thanking employees for their patience as they work through logistical challenges. OBIM, which was established more than a decade ago to manage the biometric information used to make border security decisions, is based at the Transportation Security Administration's offices. Another email, also viewed by FedScoop, highlights the severe space constraints at OBIM. Employees were sent lists of conference rooms that could be used for seating options for work. The email said, quote, "With the space limitations, we encourage staff to please be accommodating and share offices and workspaces to the extent that it is possible. Please connect directly with your supervisor and division leadership to discuss creative seating solutions. And please remember that we are all in this together and are working to find viable solutions. Thank you again for your patience as we work through these logistical challenges." Because there isn't enough office or cubicle space, it's possible that staffers could unintentionally expose information to those that don't need to know it, given their proximity to other people, one former OBIM employee said. A person within DHS also confirmed that privacy was an issue and that because conference rooms were being used for work, they were not being used for conferencing. They said OBIM employees were sitting on couches to work and holding their laptops on their laps because there isn't enough desk space. One source familiar with the situation said that staff at OBIM had to be in the office between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. with no exceptions. Because of the space constraints, people are sitting in break rooms, conference rooms, and hallways, the person said. Much of the primary leadership is also leaving the DHS component, they added. OBIM has seen its fair share of upheaval in recent weeks beyond the office issues. Kenneth Gant, the deputy director of OBIM, is leaving the agency, two sources said. And last week, FedScoop reported that the Department of Government Efficiency had arrived at OBIM and initiated discussions about the future of the Homeland Advanced Recognition Technology Program, which is supposed to serve as a next-generation replacement for DHS's biometrics program. In other news, as DOGE continues its decimation of the federal workforce, grinds various operations to a halt, and touts dubious cost savings claims, the congressional agency with deep experience rooting out fraud, waste, and abuse in government released a litany of recommendations Tuesday that it says could save the public tens of billions of dollars. The Government Accountability Office's 15th annual report on federal programs that have fragmented, overlapping, or duplicative goals or actions identified 148 cost-cutting measures across 43 topic areas, essentially delivering a playbook to Congress and federal agencies aimed at lowering costs, improving programs, and increasing revenues. Comptroller General Gene Dodaro said in a press release that the GAO's updated report details, quote, "new and meaningful opportunities to save federal funds across a wide range of programs." Dodaro added, quote, "by addressing this year's updated list as well as open recommendations to both agencies and Congress from GAO's past work, the federal government could potentially save an additional $100 billion. The watchdog said its recommendations have generated roughly $725 billion in cost savings and revenue increases. Its latest slate zeroes in on some familiar topics for fragmentation, overlap, and duplication topic areas, including information technology across the federal government. In particular, the Office of Management and Budget and 24 federal agencies could save at least $100 million by implementing various requirements and reviews to eliminate duplicative IT purchases and cancel investments, according to the GAO. For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, make sure to visit fedscoop.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back tomorrow with more top headlines. Until then, I'm your host, as always, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.